We are at McDonald's on North Bridge Street in Chillicothe. I'm Dan Ramey, and this guy here is Ron Fewster. You have been with McDonald's a good portion of your life, haven't you?
Yes, 61 years, since I was 16 years old.
It's an incredible story that we want to tell. So let's start right, first of all, with where we are. We're on North Bridge Street. This is right at the corner of 2nd and Bridge.
Okay.
Was this your first location?
It was. It was a first location for a lot of things. It's the first location in the McDonald's system that was less than 50,000 population. So this was a test market, and they're very happy the way the test went.
Yeah, it's tested well, hasn't it?
It has tested very well. Yeah, a small market that they were afraid to put one store in. Now we have 4 stores in this small market.
Yeah.
So yes, it's a great community. It's a McDonald's community, and it's been very good for me.
As we talk here in 2022, you mentioned you've got 4 locations here. You've got East Main Street, Western Avenue, 2 on North Bridge Street, 1 across the bridge and 1 downtown, so to speak. But you also have Circleville, you've got Greenfield and Waverly.
That's
you've
correct.
Expanded.
Not for the last 20 years we haven't,
Yeah.
but there for a while in the 70s we grew quite a bit. As a matter of fact, in the 70s we also opened up Washington Courthouse and Portsmouth. So we owned those at one time.
Yeah.
And Jackson.
Incredible.
So, yeah.
So let's go back to 16-year-old Ron. Up in Toledo, right? This is where this all started?
Yes, I was a junior in high school, and a part-time job on weekends, coming in and breaking the maintenance man. And so I emptied trash cans and mopped floors and things such as that.
At what point in time did you get into being a manager and then eventually into ownership?
Well, the time I got into management was my senior year. I got out of school at 10:30, and McDonald's didn't open until 11 o'clock. There was no breakfast. So I was able to work full-time my senior year. So that's when they put me into management, assistant manager.
Yeah. And when did you get the itch to say, I want to make this a career?
Well, I don't know what time I did, but I continued to see what I really liked. So I worked 2 jobs for probably 3 or 4 years. I worked on the railroad, worked at Libby-Owens Ford Glass. I worked in a factory for a while. So what was great about McDonald's is I could work the McDonald's schedule around the other full-time job. So I didn't find anything in those jobs that I liked better than working at McDonald's.
Were you learning at that time the structure you would put into place that has been so successful over the last 50 years?
Well, back in those days, everything was done out of the store, like all the ordering, we did all that ourselves. The checkbook, we wrote all the checks ourselves. So the managers, my brother and myself, actually ran the business. And they had other stores where the same manager that was in that store wrote the checks, and because there was no central office at that time. So that's how we learned the businesses. We did everything.
I have watched a number of kids. I mean, you are a very huge employer of those that are youth, teenagers, and it gives them a great foundation, and it seems to be a pattern that you've never strayed away from. Is that McDonald's Global, or is that part of your plan?
Well, it's pretty much of a global thing. What it is, it's a great first-time job. Teaches a individual to be on time, gets them in and out of bed when they should be. It teaches them how to work as a team. It's just like being on a football team or a basketball team. You have to depend on your teammates. So that more or less that's Dave started me when we first opened, and he was in high school. So he's a very valued employee, and we're glad he's still with us.
Again, some people stay with you their whole career, and having been involved with it now 60 plus years, this is pretty cool for you.
It's wonderful. It's a family. It's a family situation. Jan Daddy and Jeff Daddy's been with me more years than I think they want me to tell you. But they're definitely family, and they're very much an important part of our organization.
And I think that's the key right there. Family. It makes a difference, doesn't it?
Well, it does, and our daughter Megan, Melody, and our daughter Megan is now running the organization. It's great to have a second generation interested in your business because, over all these years you put in a lot of time and effort, and it's nice to see one of your children take on the opportunity and the business and advance it, and she has.
We have seen a lot of change, but you have rolled with those changes. Economic times, we look at the inflation rate now. It's not been like this for 40 years, but you survived that time. There's no reason to think that you may not survive this time.
Well, anybody that survived the 70s, when interest rates were up in the 14 and 15% basis, and inflation was very high, higher than it is now, those were tough years to stay in business. So yeah, this one here is tough on everybody, and I hope there's some changes coming up in November.
When we take a moment to think about the community, we touched on the fact you have a lot of teenagers who work for you. You have put so much money back into schools, into things that are of interest of those kids. That's really huge for a corporation like yourself.
Well, the kids, young adults I should call them, in this community are very important to McDonald's and always have been. Jan is probably the one that does the most with the schools and things such as that. She's a valuable asset as far as in the community with a lot of different things. Majestic Theater, she's on their board. So not only myself getting involved and my daughter and my wife, but Jeff and Jan both are very involved in the community.
And to employ as many people as you have over the years, it's important to keep that community tie.
I hate to think how many people came through this organization, but there was a lot of them and a lot of great people, and they've ended up very successful. And I'm really happy for them, and I congratulate them for coming through our organization, and maybe I learned a thing or two, and going on and being very successful.
I'm guessing that with 7 locations, you have employed at least 700 people on the roster right now.
Every bit of 700, yeah, in the whole organization. And like I say, there's some that have been with us, I'd say probably 50 have been with us 20 years or more.
Yeah. What sort of changes have you seen over the time just with McDonald's? I know every 5 to 10 years it seems they have some type of a brand change.
Well, mostly the building, the look of the building, everything's different looking than we were able to do back then. The technology is unbelievable. The things that are required of the managers are 10 times more than it was back when I was a manager. So it's technology is very important to the managers today, as far as scheduling, ordering, any of that stuff. So if you have to keep up on technology, and I'll admit it, I'm not. But luckily, Megan is, and Jan and Jeff are, and Dave, God bless him, has stayed up on technology.
In 1972, I have a feeling none of us were thinking about being able to use a smartphone, to use a mobile app, to use the ability to order your lunch or breakfast or supper.
No way. As a matter of fact, the first phone I had was one of those bag phones you kept in your cars, and they were probably as big as a typewriter almost. Yeah. So, yeah, the technology on communications is easier. When before technology, naturally, I had to go around to the stores and communicate, or had to bring them all into a huge meeting to communicate. Now, Mega can communicate with a group text. Yeah. Which is really a great thing, but technology is great, but sometimes technology can be bad too.
Yeah. And for our younger listeners, a typewriter, just Google that and you'll find out what that is. Tell me what you can about the value of the people that really make this organization run.
The value is, you can't put a dollar figure on it. The experience in dealing with people and dealing with McDonald's and dealing with the equipment changes is just unbelievable. We have some people that are are full-time with us. We have an in-house individual that takes care of all of our HVAC and our plumbing. We have another individual that takes care of all of our equipment repair, and we have another individual that takes care of all of our landscaping and things such as that. So we're in-house. It's too hard to call Columbus for any type of service because you have to wait 2 or 3 days or maybe even a week for them to get down here. So we find it very functional and to get things when it's broke, to fix it so that our employees aren't dealing with broken equipment.
You mentioned Columbus and that transition into Nationwide Children's Hospital and the Ronald McDonald House. You were instrumental in making that possible. Not only that, now it is the largest in the world. There's got to be a sense of pride there.
Well, there is. I was involved in the first Ronald McDonald House up by Children's Hospital, and I think the first one had 13 beds. And then we built a new McDonald's, Ronald McDonald House, on the campus of Children's Hospital. And with their expansion, they asked us to move across the street and build another one. So we built that one, and that one's been enlarged up to 137 rooms right now, and they're in the process of adding 20-some more rooms. So it's the largest Ronald McDonald House in the world, and I'm pretty happy with that.
And a great number of people here in Ross, in Pike, and Pickaway County have used the Ronald McDonald House.
Yes, it is. Jan's very instrumental, and so is my wife Melody. They do a hullabaloo.
Handbag hullabaloo.
Handbag hullabaloo. That's hard to say. Each year they raise considerable money for the Ronald House, and it's well attended. Sometimes there's a waiting list to get tickets for it. So, yeah, they've done how many years? 6 years. Mm-hmm. So they've raised probably over $100,000, $150,000 over those 6 years. So that goes directly to the house. There's no management fees or nothing such as that. That's 100% goes to the Ronald House to make sure that people from this area and other areas also, but this area we have a high usage of Pike County, Ross County, Highland County, so that they don't have to pay more than $10. And if they can't pay that, they don't pay anything to stay there while their children's being attended at the Children's Hospital.
1972 is when it started here in Chillicothe for you. It's now 2022. Try and put 50 years into perspective.
It went too fast. Met a lot of great people, and I hope I got another 10 years, but who knows?
We could be doing this at 75.
Well, that'd be wonderful. That'd be wonderful. Be glad to do it.
Well, you've gone from the early days of 2 all-beef patties, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, and the whole deal to how about a strawberry and cream pie?
Well, when I started, there was a limited menu. There was hamburgers, cheeseburgers. There wasn't even fish sandwiches when I started. There was milkshakes, French fries, and soft drinks. That's all there was. So it was and the registers were all manual. There was no computers on any of the. It was all visual. You know, when the fries was done, you had to know what they were supposed to look like. Same way with the meat on the grill, you have to know what to look for. So and there was a lot of preparation back in those days. We had to cut our own cheese. We had to make our own sauces. So there was a lot of prep work in the morning. But we didn't have breakfast. We didn't open until 11. So we had the time. We got in there at 7 o'clock, and we had 3 hours of prep work. We had to slice all our own fries. So think about that. There was a lot of work to do.
Absolutely. As a kid, I don't remember the Happy Meal until it came along in the 1980s, so I didn't get to be a kid and enjoy the Happy Meal. But my granddaughter loves them, by the way. I've had a chance to first come to this McDonald's. This is the first one I remember, and I grew up in Pickaway County. And then you have Circleville. I got to enjoy Circleville, Waverly with the recent Ray Kroc winner. You've had other Ray Kroc winners as well amongst your restaurants. Again, a sense of pride.
Very much. It's a sense of pride. We've had in our organization Terry Pack, which won it twice. Damon Campbell just won it, and Jack Hatton. It's the best that a manager can get. It's the highest award, and our organization has won it 4 times, which I'm very, very proud of. And it's not no thanks to me. It's the staff that I have working for me. I give all the credit to them because they're the ones that trained them.
I have been honored to be a part of McDonald's for a number of years. Without you and these restaurants, I would never have met Ronald McDonald, and that made a childhood dream come true. Thank you for that.
Well, Ronald McDonald was a great individual and a great thing to have. I'm sorry that it's not available anymore. They found it that because of insurances, cost and stuff like that, the liability that sometimes happens, that they discontinued the program. But it was great when we had Grimace and all the characters, and that was a fun time in McDonald's. It's not that type of time period right now. It's kind of a stressful time period.
Yeah, it is for everyone.
And for every business.
But
yes,
what's not stressful is the comfort of the food.
Yes, so thank you.
Yeah.
I think the food is every bit as good today, maybe even a little better than it was back when I started.
Especially when you get smoothies and shakes.
Exactly.
Ron, anything that we have missed that you wanted to make sure people do?
I just want to thank the community for the patronage that they've given me all these years, and welcome a young 27-year-old to the community. Seemed like 50 years went too fast, and it seemed like just yesterday we was opening this store.
And you'll be leaving a lasting impression also, because soon you'll be making a donation to the Ross County Humane Society for their new building, and that's extra special as well.
Animals have always been very special to me, especially dogs. So Melody, my wife, and myself are making a donation to the new building, the Humane Society's building. We're going to sponsor the surgery center. So we're very happy to do that, and hopefully that other businesses in the community will follow my lead and do the same.
Thank you for what you've done for the community, and thanks for being who you are.
Well, thank you for the interview. I appreciate it.
Ron Fewster.
Well, Ron, I'd like to say congratulations on 50 years with your first McDonald's in Chillicothe. I can remember as a teenager running through here on Friday nights and grabbing a drink and going on. It's been a great 38 years, and I'm looking forward to at least 1 or 2 more. And I just appreciate all you've done for us throughout the years and wish you well.
I would tell him how much I appreciate that he's created something that's been such a big part of my life also. Taking care of my family with it. Everything I have to show for is from this place.
I would tell Ron thank you for putting the McDonald's here in Chillicothe as this being your first store. It's been a pleasure working for you, and congratulations on your success.
I would say, Ron, I want to congratulate you on 50 years. I'm glad you chose Chillicothe to start at. It's meant a lot to me and my family, and I just want to thank you and congratulate you.
Thank you for my time. Thank you for investing in me. I know I appreciate it. My family appreciates it. I know I feel it, and I know Ron feels it too.
Ron always was an advocate. He always seemed like he created a strong work ethic amongst the people. You didn't want to let Ron down, and I always kind of thought that was a gift. When you work with somebody that was right in the middle of it and never asked anybody to do anything that he wouldn't do himself, you earn a lot of respect for somebody that does that. Ron and me, we're as close as family can get, you know. He knows my family, I've just known his family. You know, we've been together through the good times, through the bad times. We're rolling this together, you know, and I attribute anything I have to him, so.
I think Ron knows what I think, but, again, it's just a wonderful organization. Ron is just like family, everybody is. Megan's daughters, watching them grow up, it's just been wonderful. We've seen a lot of people come and go, and it's just been a wonderful guy to work for.
Well, I just want to tell him, thank you for giving me the opportunity to be where I am today, and congratulations, and hopefully we have several many more years.
He's worked hard. He's worked hard. It's been his life, and congratulations. You deserve everything.